In the quiet African village of Makondo, surrounded by tall palm trees and dusty red roads, there lived two identical twin sisters. Their names were Lila and Lola. To strangers, the sisters looked exactly the same. They had the same beautiful brown skin, the same bright eyes, the same braided hair tied into elegant buns. Even their laughter sounded alike. When they walked through the village together, many people struggled to tell them apart. Children often played a game trying to guess which sister was which, but anyone who truly knew them understood something important. Though their faces were identical, their hearts were completely different. Lila was the kind twin. Every morning before the sun rose above the hills, she would wake up quietly and begin helping their mother prepare food for the family. While most of the village was still asleep, Lila was already outside sweeping the yard or carrying buckets of water from the well. She greeted every neighbor she passed. "Good morning, Mama Ayo. Good morning, Uncle Bako." Her warm smile had a way of making people feel comfortable, and she never ignored anyone who needed help. If an elderly villager struggled to carry something heavy, Lila would immediately step forward. If a child fell and began to cry, she was the first person to comfort them. Because of this, many people in Makondo often said, if kindness had a face, it would look like Lila. But Lola was very different. Lola loved beautiful clothes. She loved jewelry that sparkled in the sunlight. And more than anything else, she loved the idea of living a luxurious life far away from the dusty roads of the village. While Lila worked hard and helped their neighbors, Lola often spent her time dreaming about wealth. Sometimes she would sit quietly in front of a cracked mirror inside their small home, imagining what she would look like wearing expensive dresses and gold necklaces. She believed something very strongly. Being poor was the worst fate anyone could have, and she hated the idea that she and her sister were living the same simple life. Sometimes, when Lola watched the villagers praising Lila for her kindness, something dark began to grow inside her heart. Jealousy. Not because Lila had more money, but because everyone loved her. Villagers trusted Lila. They admired her kindness, and that attention made Lola furious. One afternoon, while staring at her reflection in the mirror, Lola whispered to herself, "How can she be the favorite? We are twins. We are the same." But deep inside, Lola knew the truth. They were not the same at all, and that truth bothered her more than anything else. One evening, as the sun slowly disappeared behind the hills of Makondo, the village square suddenly filled with excitement. A large black luxury car appeared on the dusty road leading into the village. No one in Makondo had ever seen such a car before. Children ran behind it, laughing and shouting. Men gathered near the roadside. Women stepped outside their homes to see who the mysterious visitor might be. The shiny vehicle moved slowly through the village, before finally stopping near the small guest house at the center of Makondo. When the door opened, a tall, well-dressed man stepped out. His suit looked expensive. His shoes were polished perfectly, and the watch on his wrist shined brightly in the fading sunlight. It was clear to everyone watching, this man was not an ordinary traveler. Within minutes, the news spread across the entire village. The mysterious stranger was not just rich, he was a billionaire businessman who had returned to the region to invest in land and development. His name was Daniel Kofi Mensah, and wherever he went, wealth seemed to follow. Some villagers whispered that he owned companies in several countries. Others said he controlled businesses worth millions of dollars. But no matter which story people believed, everyone agreed on one thing. Daniel Kofi Mensah was one of the richest men anyone in Makondo had ever seen. That evening, while villagers continued whispering about the wealthy newcomer, Lola sat quietly outside her small home. Her eyes were wide with excitement. A billionaire. In Makondo. The thought made her heart race. All the dreams she had secretly kept inside her mind suddenly felt closer than ever. Slowly, a smile appeared on her face. But Lila, sitting beside her, simply shook her head and laughed softly. "To me," Lila said gently, "rich or poor, every person is the same." Lola turned toward her sister with disbelief. "You can believe that if you want," she replied, "but I promise you one thing. If a billionaire comes into this village, I will not let that opportunity pass me by." Later that night, long after the entire village had fallen asleep, Lola stood alone in front of the cracked mirror inside their small room. She studied her reflection carefully. The lantern beside her flickered softly, casting moving shadows on the walls. Then she whispered quietly to herself, "We are twins. We look exactly the same." Slowly, a dangerous idea began forming inside her mind. An idea so bold, it could change everything. Lola smiled at her reflection, and in that moment, the seed of a very dangerous plan was born. A plan that would soon change the lives of everyone in Makondo, especially her sister, Lila.